Over the years, we've had tons of great desserts on the show. From coal miner's cake to iron skillet chocolate pie, Mom's made tons of delicious treats for us. And today she's got something a little different that I think you're going to enjoy. It's her take on an angel food cake. Mom?
Today we're going to be turning an angel food cake into a special cake. It would be great for Mother's Day, birthdays, holidays. It tastes really good and it looks beautiful. Now, angel food cakes can be a little bit temperamental. It says to not use plastic bowls. You need to wash your mixer, your beaters, and your bowl and have everything really, really clean. So today, this recipe, it's a two-step recipe. You whip your egg white mixture first. And I'm using, I think it's a Hospitality brand. It's a really good brand. And it calls for 1 1/3 cups of water. We're going to do the egg whites first. Angel food cakes are very popular because they're virtually fat-free. You only use the egg whites of the egg, not the yolk, and it's not too sweet, so it's pretty healthy as far as cakes go. One of the traditions in the Brashear family, Aunt Jean used to make one every Christmas, and she'd bring it down, but she made it from scratch. And I think she used 12 egg whites. I didn't do that today. We're using a good mix. So my egg whites are starting to foam up very well. You want them to get pretty stiff. I want to turn my mixer up. All right, I think we finally got there. You can see the stiff peaks are standing up. So the next part of this recipe is to put in the flour mixture. And it says do not use electric mixer. You're going to whisk this in fourths. So about 1/4, fold it in. If you do this right, your cake is going to rise up and be just beautiful. It's not going to have any air bubbles in it, and it's going to taste really, really good. 3. Just gently fold it in. And 4. Now I'm going to be putting this in an angel food cake pan and baking it immediately. You don't want to let this sit out on the counter even for 5 minutes. You want to put this in the oven. Okay. Turn it around. Now before you put this in the oven, you want to tap it on the counter just a few times. That gets any of the air bubbles out. We're going to put it on the very lowest rack in the oven, 375 degrees for about 35 to 40 minutes. The cake is done and ready to come out of the oven. I'm going to turn it upside down and let it cool. Now it's important to put it upside down because if you don't, it will shrink down into the pan. This way it keeps the lightness and the airiness of it. Tell you what, let's do it that There we go. Now we're going to let that sit there for a while till it cools, and then we're going to do something really special with the cake. The angel food cake came out very nice, don't you think? So the first thing we're going to do is slice it in half. So I have a bread knife here, and I'm going to just try to do the straightest line that I can, and I'm going to just saw right through it. And it's probably not going to be level, but that's okay. Now take the top layer off and put it to the side. Now you could do 2 cakes if you want. It's up to you, but I'm just going to make one, and it's going to be very tall. So the filling that goes in between the layers, you use 8 ounces of cream cheese, a cup of powdered sugar, and an 8-ounce container of frozen whipped topping. Just mix those up with a mixer. You can see how easy this is. Things you probably have right there in your pantry. Mix that up. I softened the cream cheese earlier too so that it wouldn't be so hard. And of course your whipped topping needs to be thawed. Just scrape down the sides as you go. I think that does it. Then this will be your creamy filling. It's pretty stiff. So you're going to put half of it. Just smooth it on. This cake looks fabulous when it's finished. It's really good for potluck dinners or special occasions or just anything. All right, now make it flat. And then you're going to add cherry pie filling. Just equally all around. Not quite half. You want a little bit more than half for the top so that it will fall over and drizzle over the sides. That's good. Now we're going to put the top back on. Actually, that's the bottom, but that's the top. That makes sense. Okay. And cream it on the top. If it falls down in the hole, that's okay. That'll be good for that person who gets the inside piece. And you don't have to be real fancy with it. It just kind of falls into place. But just get the top of it as flat as possible. There we go. And then we're going to put the rest of the cherries on. We're going to chill this. And again, this is something that will keep for days in the refrigerator as long as you keep it covered airtight. The cake will stay nice and moist, and the cherries, everything just stays really well. Now how cool is that? Very colorful. And that's a tall cake. Next time you have something special to make one of these. It'd be great for a shower or just anything. And then just gently let it fall over the side. Let gravity take its force here. Last one.
Our Mountains is sponsored by Frontier Nursing University. educating nurse midwives and nurse practitioners through distance education. The Kentucky Bankers Association, your association, our Commonwealth. The Foundation for Appalachian Kentucky, a community foundation helping donors make meaningful investments in Eastern Kentucky. Learn more at appalachiankentucky.org. Hazard Community and Technical College. Find them online at hazard.kctcs.edu.